All right, so you might be asking yourself, where can I find more money for my business? Where can I get some stimulus for my company? In this episode, I'm gonna be talking about where can I get a private money lender. All right, there's so many ways to get private money lending for your business. In this episode, I'm gonna give you a ton of resources, so let's go. All right, the first and the easiest is let the land sharks help you find capital. That's my friends over at Kogo Capital. They help you buy the land, they help you build a house on it, they help you buy the property and renovate the house. Go to thelandsharkscapital.com for more information. Fill out a form and a lender will contact you. This is the absolute easiest way to go. Next, we all have a mother-in-law. We all have a father-in-law. There's a great book called The Millionaire Next Door. We all know someone with money, but we might not realize they have money. So you need to get out there and talk to people about what you're doing. Talk to your friends, talk to your family members, tell them what you're doing. I wanna give you a story about my mother-in-law. I did not even realize she had the cash, but one day she approached me and said, "Hey Brent, I see what you're doing with your real estate business and I wanna get in. I see that you might need some money," because we were actually talking about it. Like she heard me and my wife saying that we were looking for funds to buy a house, an Airbnb on Lake Placid. So she offered us $60,000 at 0% interest. Yes, I said that, 0% interest, just to use her money for our house. And now granted, I probably wouldn't have gotten that deal if I wasn't married to her daughter. And yes, we ended up paying my mother-in-law interest because I did it kind of for a selfish reason. I wanted her to allow me to borrow the funds again. We paid her back really quickly. We did exactly what we said we would do. And we also allowed the title company to give her a deed of trust and a promissory note. That way, if something happened to me or my wife and we couldn't pay her back, she could get the property, or she had collateral in the property to cover her retirement. Like we're playing with her retirement money. So you want to make sure that you're protecting your private lender, your private money lender, if things go south. And things happen in deals. Things could go south in deals. It's another reason why I always make sure it's a good deal when I'm borrowing the money. When I'm borrowing the money from a private lender, I generally try and get the property under 65 cents on the dollar. So what does that mean? If the property's worth 100,000, I'm borrowing no more than 65,000. That gives me my 65% loan to value. All right, so I wanna give you another of my favorite ways to finding a private money lender or finding private money lending for your business, and that is by going to real estate investor associations. Where do you find these RIAs, or real estate investor associations? Or some people call them real estate meetups. You can literally go to meetup.com. You can also search Google meetup, real estate meetup in your city, real estate meetup county. And then also another great place is the Real Estate Investor Association clubs. You can search that on Facebook and find these clubs. And I go in and I generally try and meet one or two people at these clubs and see how I can offer value to what they're doing. And generally, a lot of times, if you go and sit next to the oldest guy in the room, he's more than likely been doing real estate for many years and has either sold all of his properties or has a ton of cash in the bank. And a lot of times, these old timers, these OGs is what I like to call them, the OGs in real estate, they like to lend money because it's more of a passive type of investing. They don't have the time or the energy to go and find these great properties and fix and flip them or buy these great parcels of land and sell them like we do. We need the cash. So usually I find that people, they have a lot of time or a lot of cash, not usually both. They have a lot of time because they're broke and a lot of cash because they're busy. So usually someone doesn't have a lot of time and a lot of cash. So it's best if you can like partner with these people. So that old person in the room has had time to do all these deals and now they've accumulated cash and they'll no longer want to go out and hunt for these deals. So this is where I come to this person. I come to the older person and I ask them, I say, "Hey, I'm looking for lending." I'm just straight up with them. "Hey, I have more deals than I have money for. You know of anybody looking to land on property?" And sometimes it's them, sometimes they refer me to that person. So you don't have to come at them directly and say, "Hey, would you be interested in lending on my deal?" Well, geez, let's like have a little conversation before you come to me right with money. So obviously build rapport, look for ways to serve that person, and one way to figure out how to serve someone in real estate or business is like, "Hey, what's your business needing right now?" Or "What are you needing right now in your business? What brings you to this meetup?" What brings you to this meetup is a great conversation starter because I've literally had people tell me, "Well, I'm actually looking to lend funds to a real estate investor." Another guy said, hey, I'm actually looking for a lender. Like, you name it. When you ask someone what brings you to this meetup, it's an open-ended question, and it's room for growth, room for opportunity, room for friendship. Another great thing to do is if you're actually already doing real estate, a lot of times these meetups and RIAs will look for speakers. They're always looking for speakers because they want to provide valuable content. They want to educate their members. So if you're able to get up in front of the crowd and speak about what you're doing, I gave my land presentation. I talked about how I buy land at 30, 40 cents on the dollar and how I turn around and 3x my money and charge interest. And I've got all these passive income notes coming in. And at the end of that presentation, I said, hey, you can set all this up, make a pile of money doing it, or I'm always looking for lending. I have more deals available to me than I've got the cash for, and I can do a lot more deals with other people's money. So anybody looking to earn 9, 10% on their money, hit me up after this. I actually found 3 lenders. One of those lenders ended up being my business partner on about 130 something land deals. Another guy offered me financing, offered me $35,000 at 9% interest. And then another guy, I ended up coaching him on how to set up his land business, and he paid me to do it. And my final points on meetups or real estate investor associations is I highly recommend starting one. This is ecosystem merging at its finest. But don't start one by yourself. Let's just say you're a real estate investor just like me. I love to buy land. I've done over 280 something land deals. I have about 100 notes paying me every single month on land deals. And we also fix and flip houses. We wholesale houses. And guys, I'm not doing this by myself. I've got a team doing it and helping me. But I'm the real estate investor. So what did I do? I started a meetup in Colorado Springs with my real estate broker. Now that I've moved to Florida, I've already found another real estate broker, and he knows a real estate attorney. So all 3 of us are gonna join forces and start this group. We're also gonna find an insurance agent that loves to insure. We're also gonna find a title company agent, and that's ecosystem merging. Everyone can serve everyone else's business. And then who did I leave out? I left out lender. I need to find a good lender as well. So all that to say, you're out there helping other people, serving other people's businesses. You're gonna run into hard money lenders, private money lenders to fund your business. This is another way to find a private money lender. Next is a free way of finding private money lending. I had a mentor tell me one time, you don't have to go out and create content. Your life is your content. You're just not hitting the record button. Another way that I've raised private money is by talking about the deals I'm doing, talking about my land business, talking about the house flip we just made a bunch of money on. But you gotta hit the record button. You gotta document. You gotta actually be intentional about what you're doing. Hey guys, I'm actually doing this deal. I just finished up on it. Our private money lender made $5,000 on this. I'm actually looking for some money to do my next deal. Hit me up. Let's go to lunch and talk about the next deal. That is a way to raise private capital, find a private money lender, find private money for your business by just talking about what you are doing on your social media. All right, I got one more point on how to get a loan from a private lender, but before I do, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I know I'm giving you so much content. Guys, that's your payment for all this content, and then I come out with these 5 days a week. I'm the only guy on here talking about land coming out with content 5 days a week, so definitely hit that subscribe button. All right, let's talk about the next level strategy of raising private funds. And if you're already doing business, if you're already doing houses or land or apartments or whatever you're doing, podcast hosts are able to bring on multiple people. I want to kind of give you both sides of the coin. You could be a podcast host, which is like virtually cost you nothing, and you can bring on all these successful people. And then by doing that, you're sharing, educating the masses, but you're also creating a following where you can ask for what you need, whether it be private money lending or hard money lender, whatever it is. You can do that as a podcast host. Another way is to become a podcast guest. There's so many podcasts out there that do real estate, do business. The hosts are always looking for guests, and you can get on there and talk about what you're doing, provide so much value. And then when they ask like what you're doing, what you're trying to do, you can say, hey, look, I actually have all these land deals, or I actually have all these house deals. I've got more deals than I've got money. I'm looking for private lending, and actually put it out there and be intentional about it. This is next level ways of finding a private lender and finding private lending for your business. All right, guys, as you know, the real estate market is absolutely booming. Let us help you find that private capital by going to thelandsharkscapital.com. Those are my friends over at Kogo Lending, Kogo Capital, and they will help you get your next deal done. That's thelandsharkscapital.com. It's also below in the description.